A fleet of warships surrounds a small island. They don't bother firing conventional weaponry because their crew knows they'd be ineffective against the monsters on the island. Instead, it's up to the hunters to handle the fight. Men and women wielding swords, shields, daggers and magic fight giant ants, but the low-ranking hunters are overrun by the assaulting creatures. All hope appears lost until a hooded figure enters the fray. He heals one of the seriously injured hunters while his two comrades deal with the remaining animals. The three heroes are S-rank hunters, the most strong, and they act with confidence. 10 years ago, gates leading to an alternative reality unexpectedly emerged around the earth. Magical monsters flooded through at the same time. New magical skills capable of combating monsters awoke in some humans. They became renowned as hunters. They are ranked by power from E rank, lowest, to DCBA and S rank, highest. Their powers never increased beyond the degree at which they were awakened. Currently, Jinwoo is an E-rank hunter. He arrives at his most recent task, a raid in a low-level dungeon with many other hunters. Sung has a reputation for being the weakest hunter in all of humanity. He is not despised, but seeing him called in for a mission indicates that the raid will be easy. The other hunters greet him amicably. Sung greets 𝙬𝚙, a healer he's previously worked with. She is saddened to discover his bruises from a prior work and wants him to be cautious. He's not upset though and assures her he's used to it. As the raid begins, Sung makes sure he has his weapon. It's a low power knife, but it's all he could afford. Meanwhile, 𝚲𝚘𝚙𝚎, chairman of the Hunters Association, talks with the subordinate about the intricacies of dungeon raids. Go informs him that the riches discovered there, essence stones collected by defeating monsters, are in high demand by the present regime. As a result, hunters can gain money by selling them. Essence stones can be utilized to construct weapons and gear, and the government is looking into methods to use them as a clean, safe energy sources. Back in the dungeon, Sung is pleased when he discovers his first essence stone. However, his happiness is short-lived when a monster attacks. Sung's knife cracks and the monster pierces his side with a sword. Another hunter defeats the magical beast, and 𝚬𝚙 uses magic to treat Sung's injuries. She is concerned that he continues to endanger his life in raid after raid. The group believes they have defeated the dungeon boss, but one hunter discovers a tunnel going into darkness. They debate going further for greater loot, and Sung casts the final vote. He is the primary provider for his family. His father is missing, his mother is in the hospital, and he's helping pay for his sister's college studies. He needs the money, so he votes to enter the depths of the dungeon. Meanwhile, in the city, a purse thief takes a woman's bag. A stunning young woman leaps into the air, expertly retrieving the pocketbook and eliminating the burglar in one swift swoop. Bystanders recognize her as 𝚲𝚙𝚎. The S-rank hunter, 𝚲, uncomfortable with the attention, swiftly flees the scene. After walking for over an hour, the hunters arrive at a big entrance. They open it, revealing a circular chamber that glows as they enter. Huge statues border the walls. There are no creatures inside, but 𝚬𝚙 is disturbed by the gaze of the greatest statue. The door slams shut. An exasperated hunter moves towards them, planning to depart. The statue near the entryway attacks and slashes the unwary hunter in half. The hunters panic. Sung recalls all of the numerous close calls he's had in the dungeons, from receiving horrific wounds to almost starving to death. After surviving for so long, he's able to react just as the next onslaught approaches. He saves 𝚬𝚙's life, but soon realizes how serious the situation is. The group is imprisoned and will most likely die. The stone floor of 𝚲𝚘𝚙𝚎 temple smolders as a result of the statue's onslaught, and the trapped hunters continue to fear. The party's leader, Sung, acknowledges Jinwoo's quick thinking for their safety. Jinwoo gasps when he realizes Sung's lower arm has been cut. Jinwoo has bandaged his upper arm to staunch the bleeding, and the party's devastated healer, 𝚬𝚙, is curled up in a ball. Sung explains to Jinwoo why she picks low-ranking positions. Sung recalls the 3 commandments etched on a tablet in the chamber. In order to escape the room alive, the party must worship God, thank God, and demonstrate their confidence in God. Jinwoo recognizes that the God in the text is the largest statue in the room. Meanwhile, in a nearby high school, Jinwoo's sister Jinha welcomes her friend Sungyi as she sits at her desk. When Sungyi asks Jinha about her hunter brother, she acknowledges that he just E rank and is frequently hurt. Sungyi wonders aloud whether she would be better at her work. Back in the dungeon, the party considers his choices. An impatient hunter believes that his heightened speed will allow him to reach the door, but he's not fast enough. Jinwoo wonders why the statue is keeping them alive for the time being, as the party is taken aback by the hunter's flaming remains. After testing his notion that his head must remain dropped to avoid triggering an assault, Jinwoo instructs the others to bow before it. The party complies and the statue turns off, then exposes its teeth in a wicked grin. The statue rises from his throne and approaches the hunters. Jinwoo swiftly conveys the second commandment to the others, praise God, but is unsure what it means. One hunter tries to pray but is quickly killed under a massive stone foot. Another hunter, Park, attempts to seek refuge in front of his statue wielding a weapon but is cut in two by its blade. Jinwoo thinks on his feet and runs with a sobbing Johee. He notes that some of the sculptures hold swords whilst others have instruments, a form of appreciation. Jinwoo urges the remaining party members to run for those statues. When they get there, the stone figure plays music and the hunter in front of it is safe. Jinwoo abandons Johee at the base of one and pursues the remaining figure, the largest statue following closely behind. Jinwoo gets to safety but at the expense of his leg. 6 hunters remain in the center of the space. An altar rises up through the floor. Jinwoo understands that the most common way to demonstrate one's faith is via sacrifice. An enraged hunter nominates Song for his failure as a party leader. Song accepts responsibility for their plight and walks over to the altar. As he approaches, a bright yellow flame flares, but nothing more occurs. Jinwoo asks 2 hunters to accompany him to the altar to examine it. As they do so, 3 additional golden flames ignite. The E-rank hunter considers waiting here to be rescued, but he realizes the statues may break free from the dungeon and cause havoc before that happens. The hunters have no option but to complete the dungeon. Meanwhile, hospital workers greet Jinha as she arrives for her daily visit. She takes a deep breath and pleasantly enters her mother's room. Her mother, weak and comatose, is immobile on the hospital bed. Jinha informs her about her day. As the last hunters approach the altar, yellow flames and a ring of blue flame flare. The door opens and frightening statues appear around them. One hunter has had enough as she flees out the door. She makes it through. As the yellow flame fades out, the door shuts slightly yet remains open. Jinwoo, alone in the chamber, takes his sword, but he is no match for the attacking statues. By the end, his body has been stabbed, sliced, bruised and impaled. Jinwoo succumbs to wrath and frustration as they strike. As the blue flame fades, a statue strikes the final blow, resulting in a glowing computer prompt. The message describes a secret task called Courage of the Weak and ends with the following: you have met the requirements for becoming a player. Will you accept? What comes ahead of Jinwoo's song? Is there anything next for Jinwoo's song? Find out in the next sequel of this video.